Yo, 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 what's up, Sooner fans? This is your host from the Prairie back home, Jeremiah Hall, formerly number 27 on the field, but always number one in your hearts. Here with me today, you know who it is, my right-hand man, number 9 on the field, the Brayden Weight Room Willy Willis. And this is the podcast on the Prairie. Brayden.
Jay.
What's up, my boy?
What's good, my guy? What's going on?
It's a feel-good type of weekend, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday evening. Me and Brayden are recording right now. The sun's setting on the East Coast around 6:12. It's getting low. It's about 78 degrees outside, a little warm for this time of day. And the Sooners came away with a W in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's a feel-good Sunday, man. I cannot complain.
There you go. Hey, man.
I don't know about you.
Me neither. I can't complain either, man.
All right, y'all. You guys know all about our presenting sponsor, Plainview Legal Group, by now. They are just like you and I, die-hard Sooners who every Saturday focus solely on Oklahoma football.
Sooner Nation, however, Monday through Friday, they have another singular focus, and that's protecting the property rights of the people of Oklahoma.
If you're contacted by the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority, please know you have rights. I'm going to be honest. I don't know anything about property rights, but if the Turnpike Authority reached out to me, I'd have no idea what to do.
But thankfully, Plainview Legal Group knows exactly what to do. They are property rights experts who fight tirelessly for their clients. Trust me, you want Haley and Travis Dennis on your side.
If you're interested in the support of Plainview Legal, go to their website at www.plainviewlegal.com. Give them a call at 405-310-0183 or email them at info@plainviewlegal.com.
From there, you can schedule a free consultation. So shout out Plainview Legal.
Please see the show notes for disclaimer information. You were saying you got some good sleep last night after that game, huh?
Yeah, man. Slept in a little bit late, you know what I'm saying? I was tired, you know. Mm-hmm. My family has come back from Lincoln, so they got back today. But usually I'll be up early in the morning doing brunch with them, but I got to sleep in a little bit today. No family, missed the brunch, but no, you know, so got to get some of the sleep in, and I also don't have a car, so that kind of
right.
limits me a little bit. But hopefully tomorrow I'll have a rental, and then we'll see what happens after that. We might have something shaking up a little bit. We'll see what happens after that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any good quarterback should always have time to rest their arm on Sundays, you know. Yeah, gotta get that thing oiled up for the next week.
Just rest and recover, man. A little ice.
You know what? I think you're adding to the resume for somebody that listens to our podcast to go and get you a car. Like, I don't know what else you can do. Ladies and gentlemen, he's catching touchdowns. He's blocking 5 people on the play. And now he's throwing touchdowns. Like, what is there left to say? Honestly, I don't know. I'll probably never hear it down. I'll never hear it again from you. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Brayden used to always say, I used to play quarterback, da-da-da-da-da. And I used to be like, hey, I'd be like, nah, like, ain't no way, bro. Like, you ain't shown me the film. Like, I don't believe it.
I told you there's a film out there. The crazy thing is, I told you there is a quarterback film out there. There's a 8 to 10 minute highlight film from high school of me playing quarterback. So I tried to tell you, man. And all these years of Joe John here now, I guess he finally got sick and probably was like, all right, man, like, let's. Actually, interesting story behind it all was that we did it in fall camp, I think. And first time we did it, like, I think during a walkthrough, it was good. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, okay, we will. And then we did it in practice. And it was a good throw, but I waited too long. And I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. So I caught the ball, and whoever it was, I think our safety, like Key or something like that, was kind of like on the edge of coming or not coming, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I took like a step to kind of like try to bring him down. And when they finally passed, EG was running. And so I'm like, okay, let me put it on him. I threw a ball, and it was right. It would have hit him right in the breadbasket, right? But then Mees comes from the backside. Damon Harmon, for everybody who don't know, that's his nickname. But he comes over and he breaks it up, right? And so then they're like, "Oh no, you can't do that no more." I'm like, bro, it was a great pass. The timing is just off. The arm talent's there. The timing was just off. Okay, I haven't got a chance to throw with my receivers. Give me a break, okay? Like the arm talent's there. So then we do it again. So then we put it in this week, right? And so same thing, walk through, goes good. I think we run it one time in a team setting, but like with scouts, you know what I'm saying? It went well. And then we go and we run it versus our defense, right? And the whole defense is back there. And I throw an interception. And I was like, oh man.
My gosh.
I saw this it's out of there, man. The thing is out of there. I tried to thread the needle. There was like 3 guys back there. I probably should have ran it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, no, this is my time. I got to show Lev that I got the arm talent. So I tried to thread the needle. It barely missed EG's hands, and it went into, I think, Justin Harris, he caught the pick. I was like, oh, yeah, man, this thing is done. And then I think my roommate, Michael, was like, you don't got to worry about throwing it no more because they about to take that out. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. I was like, okay, I'll just deal with my losses. It was on the game. It was on the script. And then, you know what I'm saying? We ran our little series and we ran the play and it was wide open from the jump. You know what I'm saying?
So you weren't expecting the play to be called? I
really didn't think it was going to be called, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was going to be. I thought I was fired. I can bet you all the money that I have in the bank that our old offense would not have called that if that would have happened in practice.
Well, here's the thing. Okay. I also forgot this detail. After the fall camp, 2 weeks ago, we had throwing tryouts, right? Because I was like, dang, I got fired on my day off. Like they're like, yeah, we're gonna have throwing tryouts. But they're like, he let me in there. He's like, we will go over there and try out. Well, I was tossing that thing during the throwing tryouts too. Oh yeah, it's on the money.
Gosh.
So I won my position back, right? I had a position battle. I won my position back. And got the job done, man. I mean, to be fair, I probably have the best quarterback rating in the country. You know, I'm 1 for 1. 1 for 1 on touchdowns. 631 or something like that. It's up there. Go look at it.
Oh, I forgot there's no cap on the college QBR, huh? Oh,
let's see,
okay.
Let's see.
Okay, my bad. Yeah. I'll go look at it. Or Matt, here, you can pull it up.
Okay. Maybe from somewhere else. But yeah, it's 100. Yeah, I guess it is. It does have a cap. I saw something else from another source, and it said something else. So, but yeah, hey man,
I'm glad it went well, bro. Because I had no idea about it, and then all of a sudden my phone just starts blowing up. Like the fans, my mom, Alex texts me. My dad is calling me. Like I'm like, yo, this thing is super hot. Like, what is going on? Because I wasn't watching the game. You know, I was down there in South Carolina, but I'm glad it all went well, bro. Because
I appreciate it, man.
I'm low key jealous. I'm jealous. I'm not even gonna lie.
You wanted to throw a pass?
Yeah. I mean, it's your senior season. Like, you know.
631.60 rating. I knew I wasn't just pulling that out of nowhere.
My boy pulled out the receipts. Well, I will say I will never ever. Well, I'm not gonna say never, but that is the last time for a while that I spend my Saturday watching the team by that much while Brayden Willis is dropping bombs.
Yeah, I
Bro,
saw that.
My weekend was wait, what were you about to say? My bad.
I saw that when we were playing. I saw it on the scoreboard, and I was like, "Oh, wow, all right, that's rough." Yeah,
bro, it was. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't pay attention much to the game, so I'm sorry, Stog and Spencer, if you guys happen to be listening to the podcast. But it was a fun weekend. I'll sum it up, right? So on the way there, I saw somebody for the first time in my life. They had a donut on and was actually driving the speed limit. So they held up traffic for about 3 miles, and that took me about 15 minutes to go. Because, you know, when you bust a tire and you put on a donut and it's
a little small
drive over 55.
Yeah, they were actually about it.
I'm not about that life. So bro was actually going about 45, 50 and the speed limit was 65. So, yeah, that was side note, by the way. But Beamer hooked it up, bro. I freaking love that man. He had me meet up with his wife. I parked right next to the stadium when people were walking miles, and I mean miles, to get to the stadium. And I got sideline tickets. I got the whole nine, and I was in the suite with his wife and his family and Frank. I thought that was really cool because me and you, I think I don't know if we've met Frank before, but I've met Frank. Talked about him so much. Yeah. See, we met Frank before. So my friend, I had two friends come with me, and one of them was just like, "Man, that's Frank Beamer." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's Shane's coach. I mean, Shane's dad." And he looks at me like I'm crazy, and I'm just like, I guess I'm immune to stuff like that because
it's pretty cool though. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty cool. It just kind of shows you how like spoiled we are in a sense, I guess. But
we're low key spoiled. I was texting Emily, his wife, on the way there. I was like driving, and it took me 20 minutes to go 2 miles because there was so much traffic. And she was like, "I bet you missed that police escort right about now." And I was like, "Yeah, I miss being spoiled. Like, I don't like this normal stuff."
No doubt.
Like this is not it, bro. But I had a good time. Funny thing, I lost my keys, bro. I lost my keys before the game and looked for them for 40 minutes. I can rant about that for another half hour, but I had a good time. I appreciate Beamer, love his family, and I'm rooting for him, man. I hope a game like that doesn't happen again this year because that was demoralizing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this a tough Georgia team, man.
Yeah, Georgia's cold. I'll admit it. Around the world in college football, my upset pick was close.
It was close. I thought they were going to do it for a little bit, but I forgot to give my upset pick, and my upset pick for the week was Washington over Michigan State, and it actually happened. I forgot to say it, so people probably be like, yeah, right. But the reason why I say that is because I saw Washington play Kent State, and when I watched them play Kent State, they actually looked really good, and I was like, this Washington team looks like they're going to be, pretty solid this year. Got a good quarterback, good receivers, man. They can run the ball. You know what I'm saying? So that was my upset pick, and they got it done. So
did you see the Houston fight on the sideline?
I did. I was wondering. I actually, first off, let's talk about Kansas for a little bit. Kansas 3-0.
Oh,
Kansas is 3-0.
That bypassed me.
They look decent. They look pretty good. So, shout out to them KU boys. They got a good running back, I think. Yeah. I saw some tweets about it. And then I heard that there was some other tweets talking about some like college football world can't handle Kansas being good. And like it was a video of the fight. And I was like, yo, I said, they had these boys flustered. Like, they had UH flustered, man. Like, it was crazy. They were there scrapping it out on the sideline.
Bro, I knew something. I didn't see the fight at the beginning. I just saw the sidelines. And not the sidelines. I saw the highlights. So when I saw a dude, walking over all mugged up, I'm like, who is he looking at like that? Then I saw the push and then the punch. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
On live television too, bro, gonna be in the transfer portal within the next 2 weeks.
Was Coach Holgerson? That's at OSB, or he was at OSB, now it's at Houston. Yeah,
somebody has a decision to be made,
man,
because that's very disrespectful. Like, oh my goodness,
on national TV,
losing,
it's just not good at all. Hey, Jay, what comes to mind when you think about words like escrow, mortgage, PMI, and appraisals?
Well, I know exactly what they mean, but we'll talk about it later. I'm just not going to tell you right now.
Yeah, sure you do.
Yeah, well, who definitely knows all about those things? Phil and Thelene Webb at the Webb Properties Group. When you work with the Webb Properties Group, they will answer your questions and help you find the right home that fits your needs and that is in your budget.
Please call the Webb Properties Group right now at 888-322-5632 and request a copy of Cracking the Home Buying Code. And once you've done that, hit up our guy, Matt McDaniel at the McDaniel Mortgage Group.
You need to know you're approved for a home loan before you work with Webb Properties Group to present an offer to a seller. That's where Matt comes in. You can reach Matt at 214-435-1988 or head on over to www.appwithmatt.com. That is Matt with 2 T's. Not that I think anybody would spell it with 1.
Thank you to this elite real estate / mortgage team who has had your real estate success at heart. All right, back to the show.
Let's get back to the Sooners because I'm sure everybody wants to hear about your touchdown thrown all over again. But anyways, well, let's take it from the beginning, right? The end zone. I mean, not the end zone, the atmosphere. The atmosphere. The atmosphere looked pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm low-key jealous. Like, I wish I could have played there because it looked packed.
Oh yeah, man.
Was it loud? Like, how loud was it?
It was loud. It was probably.
Yeah, I figured.
It was. That's definitely up there, bro. It's got to be top 3 for me. I don't think anything will ever be as loud as OU Texas last year when we had that game-winning touchdown. That was the loudest thing I've ever experienced. That was ridiculous. But it was up there though. It was loud. The first drive, we got a 3 and out. It was live. It was loud, and then they got super loud when they went down and scored after that. Like, it was extremely loud. And we were looking at each other like, yo, like, okay, that's pretty cool. But, man, their stadium is real cool, man. The atmosphere was amazing. You know, they got, shout out to their fans. Their fans are really friendly, good people. And then their stadium is real cool. It's like an NFL stadium. It's built up instead of out, So it's all built up, and it's like the fans are kind of like on top of you, and it's just a really cool atmosphere, dude. Like, I'm glad I got that experience,
Yeah. So you said they scored on the first. They scored first.
Yeah, we got the ball first. We had not a 3 and out, but we had a couple plays. Then we had we didn't get a 3rd down conversion. Ended up having a punt. They got the ball, and then they went down the field pretty smoothly. Did you guys?
I know you probably, didn't feel flustered or anything, but in terms of the overall vibe of the team, was there any type of hesitation felt, or it was just like, F it, like, let's move on type of deal?
Nah, man. We looked at that and it just was like, good. You know what I'm saying? Adversity, that Jocko thing. Good. We literally listen to that every single day. It's like, not every single day. That's an exaggeration, but a lot. And every time coach says it, we're like, good, the whole team. So team didn't flinch at all and get nervous. We what can I say, man? It's football. When you're going to get somebody and, someone has a whole game plan, what I'm saying? A whole week to game plan against you. They just lost their coach, man. They have nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? They're going to come out and play inspired for their new, interim coach, man. Like, it's football. It happens. Like, I can't say that we're going to, every game, going to start out and, be 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, you know what I'm saying? But I can't say that every game we're not going to score on the first one. We probably will score most of the first drives of our season. So, it's football. Stuff happens, but, that's the adversity we're talking about, So got a little adversity at the beginning because they went, like I said, we got a little bit of momentum on the run game, like about 20 yards, and then they started shutting us down. They had some good plays by them. We didn't convert a 3rd down. We had pressure in DG's face, and the ball was a little bit high, or else we probably would have converted. But then,
what'd you think about their D-line? What'd you think about the D-line since you guys allowed some pressure at the beginning, or are they talented? What was that like?
Solid. They were just bringing some pressure. They're bringing outside pressure. They're bringing fist and field and all that other stuff. So, just bringing, just like I said, they're trying some stuff. They came out in a whole different front than we thought they were going to come out in. When we were playing 11 personnel, they're supposed to be in 4 down. Right. They even. But we got out there and they were playing odd, So, but we expected them to play odd when we did 12 personnel. So we had a lot of 12 personnel stuff and a lot of stuff to combat that, So
typically in those situations, you just never know what you're going to get. And by that, I mean specifically They lose their head coach. Now somebody gets to step in, call what they want to call without repercussions. It's nice to hear that you guys adjusted to the adversity that you faced, because I don't think people understand that it's very easy to change that entire first course of the game. They score, and then you guys lose momentum, and then second drive, something bad happens, and that one drive changes the trajectory of the entire game, because momentum is real. I promise you. And when you're on the field, you feel it. Like you don't you don't hear the commentators talking on the field. You don't hear the fans. All you hear is your coach's mouth and your internal thoughts. So it's cool to hear you talk about the faith you have in your guys. And one of the highlights I saw DG take a 60-yard tutty to the crib on the ground. Mm-hmm. Got wheels, huh?
Yeah, he jump started the offense for us, man. Needed that. Great play design by Leb. And great effort down the field to finish that off, man. The receivers blocking downfield was great. Great effort by him to stay in bounds and, continue to, run and make it all the way down there. And that really jump started us, And and speaking on, what we were talking about just a second ago, I was telling my parents Friday night at the hotel, I was telling them, like this team that we're playing last year, the last two seasons, like 13 out of their last like 18 or 20 games or something like that, they've lost to people by, a total of less than 7 points, less than a touchdown, right? Mm-hmm. Some really good teams in there as well. So we know they're going to play hard. We know they're going to fight, and they got talented players. Maybe they're just not, doing some things right internally. Who knows? But at the end of the day, like a couple plays or one drive can have the whole, can change the whole trajectory of the game. For example, when we're playing not Kent State, when we're playing UTEP in the first game, right? There was a point in time where the score was, 21-10, right? And it was crucial that our defense got a stop, right? Because if they didn't get a stop, it would have went to 21-17. Then everybody would have been frustrated. Everybody's faces would have been all messed up in the stadium. Everybody would have been like, what are we doing? Da, 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 da. Right. Defense goes out there, gets a stop. Then we go down there and score. Now it's 28-10. Now we have momentum. You know what I'm saying? And now we just carry that. We ride that momentum going through the rest of the game. People don't realize that those two drives, I call them one drive because it's offense, defense, you know what I'm saying, kind of complementary. But that one drive really changed the whole tone of the game. And it's the same for a lot of the Nebraska games if you actually go and watch them through film, like the Northwestern game, their first game. So it's good that we have composure and we talk about things like this. BV prepares us really well for things like this. So,
yeah. No, I always tell people anytime, especially on offense, when you have the chance to go up 3 scores, it is demoralizing. Like it could be 2 touchdowns and a field goal, you're up 17, 3 touchdowns, you're up 21. Whatever the case may be, when you have the opportunity to not only be up, but capitalize, oh my goodness. Because anybody in football knows it is very easy to get back-to-back touchdowns. It happens all the time. You go down and score, and then get a turnover. Defense scores, and you can kill all that in 2 minutes. It happens all the time. But it is very hard to get 3 scores back-to-back. So when you talk about momentum, for example, last year we had a couple of interceptions. I don't remember. Alex, do you remember? But it was very few games. It was very few plays that actually determined the true outcome of the game. We're talking turnovers. Did y'all have any turnovers yesterday?
We had one late in the game, little fumble snap between Davis and Gavin Freeman. But that was it. We got 2 turnovers, I think. We had an interception and a forced fumble. Actually, 2 forced fumbles, but we only recovered 1.
Yep. Turnovers. win third down. You got to win third down. And you guys went and scored 35 unanswered points after the first drive. So you win the third down. And I'm missing one. That's always like a big three. Turnovers, win the third down.
Penalties.
Penalties. There we go. Penalties. Did y'all have very many penalties yesterday?
Not really. You know, we had a targeting. You know how those go. Hard play to maneuver, I guess. It's like, you know, with targeting, it's very iffy because the guy is in the motion of playing. Like, you don't think like, oh, let me take my head out of this while I hit this guy. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know. It's hard to maneuver those targeting penalties. But yeah, I think we were 6 for 65. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's what Alice said. Yeah. So I think we won the turnover. I think they have more. Not turnover. I think they have more penalties than us. So,
See, without even watching the game, those three, I'm telling you, look at those three within any game. Like you don't even have to tell me what you can. I promise you, I can tell you how the game went. Like typically, the more penalties you have, the slower the game is, the more boring the game is. That's typically when people say, it was a bad game because it's slow. If somebody says, oh, it was a good game, I promise you, there was less penalties. It was a faster game. People love stuff like that. So those big three definitely win you some games. But let's talk about a couple of things. One, the running backs. I'm seeing the carries being spread out. I'm seeing the yards being spread out. I'm seeing some active running backs, bro. Mm-hmm. I saw one highlight. Matter of fact, it was the split zone play. But the one that I had asked you about, that they scored on, the one EG scored on.
Yeah, the one that he made the dude miss.
Yeah, boy, if I had to give EG a Madden rating on agility, 99.
Easily.
Number 1 in college football. Boy, what?
Easily.
I would not want to tackle him in space.
What did Jim Nagy say about him? Ultra bouncy running back. Yeah, that man.
Well, I'm seeing if I'm seeing EG in space, I'm taking like I'm looking at probabilities and trying to take the best angle. Like I'm not doing anything head up. I'm gonna run from the side.
Yeah, that boy, man, he can make you miss in the phone booth, man.
Ooh, speaking of Jim Nagy, our boy Brayden Willis got the shout out. Yes, sir, ski.
Yes, sir. Love that.
Yeah. What did he say? Ladies and gentlemen, Jim. Here, we got to tell him who Jim is first, because I know Jim Nagy. He is the senior director. He runs the Super Bowl. Senior Bowl. Does not run the Super Bowl. Jim runs the Senior Bowl. So he chose me as one of the fullbacks this past year. Got a chance to talk to him at the Senior Bowl down in Mobile. Super cool guy. I love him. My dad met him. Great guy. And so he runs the Senior Bowl account, and he shouted out Brayden for here. I'll let you tell the people what he said.
In so many words, he said that, when we put on the tape of me in the spring and summer, they thought it was just going to be another receiving tight end. Watching another receiving tight end, they were pleasantly surprised about my blocking and my physicality and all that other stuff. So that was nice to hear, especially from the off season of seeing a bunch of stuff saying that I can't block and my frame is slight and I'm not strong and whatever else they said. It's kind of pulling stuff out of thin air but whatever.
I don't know where they got that from.
I don't know where they got that from either.
I don't know where they got that from.
I'm glad that Jim is kind of setting them straight a little bit or whatever. So,
Yeah, tell him, my boy, once he get them paws on you,
it's
over for.
Speaking of the same play about EG's cut, you know what I'm saying? And not even my effort in general, man. I think our offensive line is playing the best that they have been this season, to this point. Getting Wanye back was big. TG did a great job, but getting Wanye back was big. And I think they're going to continue to play TG a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's great to have depth. But, man, that single play right there showed you how the whole day was going for our offensive line after we got going, because that whole right side of the offensive line sealed. Raim and McCabe got up to the backer. Ton sealed off his guy. I came through and I knocked my guy out of there. There was like 5 yards of room, like a 5 yard
I was
hole.
just about to say that.
Someone could walk through there, like literally strolled it there, And then obviously EG finishes it. He didn't have to do. We were talking about that on the bus. We're like, EG, the man has a family. You didn't have to do it like that. You could have easily just ran past him, but you knew what you were doing. You did that on purpose. His family was in the stands. Like, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah. No, his parents and family was in the stands like, ooh. Like, they said it just like that too. Like, ooh. Like, they ain't supposed to say it, but they over there like, ooh. No, I do have to follow up on you about the O-line because I noticed that. I noticed when you did take on the linebacker, your legs were like were chopping. They were moving, and yet EG still had space to the right. Raim did a good job comboing with the guard up to the linebacker, so there was plenty of space. You're right. You guys are all doing a great job giving him space to get up to the second level. So way to go, Captain. Way to give you them boys some props because
I appreciate
it was a beautiful play.
Yeah.
But let's look at the defense real quick. We've been talking about the offense for the past 4 weeks, so let's get back on these guys. The linebackers, man. It seems like they got a solid group in there, like the whole room, honestly.
I mean, our defense, man, I'm impressed. I mean, I've been playing against them for the last, 8-9 months, but and it's one thing when you're playing against them for so long, you know how good they are. You're going against them every day. But when you get to end, we have a pretty explosive offense, if I do say so myself. So, we have a good back and forth battle against the defense every day at practice. And, for the last couple months, nobody dominates it. It's just back and forth, But when we get out there and we get to see defense kind of do their thing, man, out there against someone else, bro, we literally had guys talking about, like, Nebraska. They were saying, man, like, y'all's front seven is ridiculous. Our front seven, man, can go. Our D-line gets pushed back. They shut down the running lanes. Our linebackers fly around, man. Everybody is disciplined on their assignments. Our secondary, they're disciplined. If they're giving up any catches, it's little short, quick routes, slants, stops, 10-yard, comeback, like stops, or hitches. I mean, stops, hitches and stuff like that. So, and they're right as soon as they're catching the ball, they're right there on them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and that Nebraska offense was averaging like 500 yards coming into the game a game. And that running back that they had, he was third in FBS in rushing yards before that game. And we held them to like, I think less than 4.5 yards, less than 4 yards a possession. Not a carry, but overall in total play or total yards.
That makes sense. You have to assume, or I would have to assume, that this defense is linebacker friendly, considering that's Venable's spot right there. Like, that's his bread and butter. So, specifically, guys like Deshaun, he's out there making plays. Like I said, I said it from the beginning. That little cheetah spot, I saw a couple plays being ran, and I will continue to say I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Deshaun's a smart guy, is what makes me love it even more, because it's one thing to be a great athlete. It's one thing to, go out there and just be the fastest on the field, but it's another to actually know football. Right. And I think Venables made a tremendously smart decision in putting another smart guy in that position.
I agree. I would have to agree there. I think, like you said, like he was all over the field. And then even when he got, he's out for targeting, Jaron Kanek, the freshman, man, came in there and he balled. I think he had the most tackles on the team yesterday. He balled, man. His future is bright, man. But that spot, put a smart, athletic guy there, man, is raps. Yeah, it's raps.
Let's talk about him some. What's he been looking like in practice? Now he seemed ready. I always say there is no luck without hard work behind the opportunity. So
man, he
looked ready.
He was one of those guys that came in, those freak athletes got freak athlete guys that come in. He ran a 4.4 when we timed 40s. I think he put 275 up like 11 or 12 times. The man is a great athlete, and he's a heady guy as well. So he's been playing well. He just he's been playing well in practice. He's just behind some really good players. D. White's a really good player, man, and D. White's been playing his best ball. It's like in fall camp and in the beginning of the season, and so he's just kind of waiting his time, kind of learning, and he got out there and he was ready. And I think BV is hard on all of them, but especially, like you said, the linebackers. He's super hard on the linebackers and the D linemen, because that's kind of his bread and butter. But I think it kind of shows the payoff, because those guys are always ready.
Yeah.
So
I will say I saw a video on Twitter where he had the defense. Venables had the defense called up, but he has Danny and David sitting there in the middle, and he's yelling at them more than anything, which I think is great because everybody knows that, one, they're being held accountable, but they also know that these two are the ones that's going to hold you accountable when I'm not out there.
Right.
And that builds, one, great expectations for Danny and David to live up to. And I think that forces them to play harder, not only for themselves, but for Venables, because they want to obviously, win for him and for the team, but they also want to, win for their guys. So I love what Venables is doing with the linebackers. I love how he's playing the guys to their strengths. He's putting guys where they can truly use what they're good at. And even without me watching the whole game, watching a few highlights, that's what I see.
It's a pleasant. It's really, man. Like I said, this defense is phenomenal, man. I will continue to sing their praises, and this is why. Because every day of practice, you take advantage of the guys that you're going against, right? And how good they are, right? So every day of practice, we're running the same plays that we do in the game and all that other stuff. And this is the best description that I can give. On the sideline, I came over, and me and DP were talking, and David and Danny came up and we're talking to them. This is after we were out the game. And we're like, they said something about their tight ends. And we're like, dog, their linebackers are so easy to move, whatever, just conversing, whatever. And then it was like in practice, I'm used to having to like really buckle my chin strap up and like really get ready to go to war. Cause like, when we're on the inside and I'm inserting, to the linebacker, they're coming downhill and it's a collision, you know what I'm saying? Now, when I get in the game, it's not that. I'm just running through people, you know what I'm saying? I'm just making contact and I'm moving people out the hole, you know what I'm saying? No stalemates. So, and vice versa for them, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming down, like when you're going against DP and I in practice and you're getting a big collision. Well, when they get in the game and they go against someone else, like that's, not in the same manner as that, they're driving through tight ends. Like I saw them make their tight ends look like virtually like they weren't there. So, I think it's an underrated aspect to have a, iron sharpens iron. That's all I'll say.
I'll never forget, and this will be the last thing I say on this, when Coach Riley, I think 4 years ago, it was like my freshman, sophomore year, he used to say when he was at ECU, and I don't know if he was trying to motivate us or anything this specific day, but he said when he was at ECU, he used to hear about the legendary of Oklahoma practices, specifically in fall camp. And I'll say, like, you are exactly right. Like I fall camp at OU, and I've asked around, fall camp specifically at OU, and Tuesday practices are hard. Now, the farther you get into the season, the less work physically it is on your body. But I've asked around, and guys that I know, nobody's fall camp compares to our fall camp, and nobody's Tuesdays compared to our Tuesdays. It's just part of what it is to be in Norman. So I'm glad to see Venables is bringing some juice to you guys' practices.
No doubt.
Moving on to the end of the game, I just got one thing to say. What was Josie doing? Dancing after the game in the locker room? What was that?
That was, hey man, we got Josie in there, and hey, you know what? We're just happy that, you know what I'm saying, got the dub. We got him in there. We brought him into the circle, man. Show us what you got. You know what I'm saying? We're bringing everybody in the circle. So it's just it's just having a good time, man. But you got to get my man Josie in there. Shout out Josie. That's my guy.
That's funny. It was cool to see that because his son Josie Jr. was making fun of him on Twitter, and I thought that was cute. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for this week's episode on the podcast on the prairie. Keep DMing us your problems so that way we can talk about them on the prairie. All you got to do is DM the podcast on the prairie Twitter page or Instagram page. Also, feel free to hit us up in the email if you have anything you want to shoot us specifically that's formal, whether it be advertisement, opportunity, so on and so forth. Our email is podontheprairie@gmail.com. That is all we got, ladies and gentlemen. Brayden.
Deuces.
All right, y'all.